Take 4, marker. Take 4.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the After School Film Institute's second annual Future in Films Festival. This year, we are virtual for reasons that we are all aware of. But that is not stopping us from celebrating some of the finest student filmmakers in South Florida. I'm Dr. Devin Marsh, Executive Director of ASFI. Let me start by telling you a bit about who and what we are. About 5 years ago, I knew there was a passionate group of students that were dreaming for a real on-set filmmaking experience. I knew I alone could not give them that. So in trying to empower them and make their dreams become a reality, I searched and I asked. I was lucky enough to meet Miami-Dade's film commissioner, the incredible Sandy Leiterman. She then introduced me to my now good friend and the artistic director of ASFI, Ronald Baez. Together, we have built an organization that mentors students as they start their careers and college paths to become the future filmmakers of the world. This could not be possible without the sponsors who have helped us in so many ways, and I would like to thank them now. K-Tech, Electrosonics, DD Microphones, Aperture Lighting, All-Star Coaches, Virtual Impact Studios, Ride Now Rehearsal Studios, the White Elephant Group, the Chill Lodge, Sound Devices, and of course, a mountain of gratitude to Miami-Dade County's Department of Cultural Affairs. If it wasn't for them, we would not be here tonight, and we would not be able to help the future filmmakers of South Florida begin the path of following their dreams. Also, the board of directors, mentors, and volunteers that help us make this nonprofit the incredible organization it is. I am very happy to announce a new program coming this spring called the Dare to Dream program, where students will shadow professional, award-winning, and celebrated filmmakers one-on-one during the entire filmmaking process. Please follow us on social media at ASFI_dream so that you can be in the loop as we release the information about this new incredible program for the future filmmakers of the world. And with that, I thank you for coming, and I'm going to hand things over to my good friend, the one and only Ronald Baez.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the ASFI Future in Film Festival. We're here gathered to celebrate the best of South Florida's youth filmmakers. I'm really excited to show you this program. We have 2 days of awesome screenings of some of the best films that I've seen made by students from all over the region. First and foremost, I just want to let all the students watching know, if you guys are watching looking for those Easter eggs for class, make sure that you come on to @ASFI_dream to make sure that you can get access to the form that you'll need for your classes and for that extra credit, and so on and so forth. While I'm really, really excited to make sure that everyone gets to watch all these movies, I want to let everyone know on Twitter via the hashtag ASFIFest hashtag, you can actually share your questions for the Q&A that's going to be happening after the screening. You can also type in questions in the chat that you see right there on YouTube. Should be over to the right, I guess, of my video right now. And we have people monitoring both Twitter and the chat. So after the wonderful screening we're going to watch, we're going to have a really comprehensive conversation with all of the brilliant creative minds behind these movies. So without further ado, I present for you guys the ASFI Future in Film Festival, celebrating the best of South Florida's young filmmakers.
Study in order to get it.
So you have to study.
Yeah.
But you can, it's open notes, so it's fine.
Hey, guys,
Really?
I have a question. So, what do you guys think tomorrow brings?
That's a loaded question.
3, 2, 1. Ready or not, here I come! You ready? Yeah, it's a foosball table.
We'll be test riders, right?
I think tomorrow is what you make it.
We're not even moving.
Hands up! Hey! Hey! Me. Are you in it?
Yeah.
You know, I just try to take each day as it comes.
We're going up! We bought 5 tickets.
Where would we get burgers?
Why are you always filming? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Stand a little bit.
Maybe next year.
Do it, do it, do it, do it!
Do it! I don't know. You always ask us the questions. Yeah. What do you think tomorrow brings?
I think tomorrow is, you know what? Maybe it is a loaded question. Maybe tomorrow is whatever you make of it. And maybe tomorrow is taking the day as it comes. And it's okay not to know. I thought it was better for them not to know. To spend my last days pretending that tomorrow can come.
The key turns in the lock. The great door swings open. The pure sky stretches away to the ends of the world. The earth stretches away to a new horizon.
Hey, I'm Kevin, and I'm a plane spotter. So you're probably wondering what that is. So basically, I go to many different airports. It can be a small one or a big one, like MIA right behind me. But before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. Back when I was 13 years old, I was on my way to school with my grandpa, who was in the front seat. We just happened to see an airplane flying over us, and that airplane happened to be an Atlas Air 747-400.
Well, when I first started showing him the airplanes, and he showed interest in them, he liked it too, and he just kept following and say, Abu, can you take me there again and again and again?
All right, Abu, we get it. Many might think this is a simple hobby, but to me, there's so much more. I eat, sleep, and breathe airplanes. When I need to re-energize, I go to the airport.
That was my view. Nice.
When I need to relax, I do the same exact thing. And I'm not the only one with this fascination. There are hundreds of others around the country who do the same exact thing. Some of my closest friends are those who live the farthest.
I met Kevin through Instagram. We all went spotting together and we hit it off from there.
Kevin was my first follower on Instagram.
Yeah, our friendship isn't like the rest. Let me break it down for you. So Zach lives in New Jersey, Raph lives in New York, Abby lives in Massachusetts, and I live in Miami.
Friends from your school, you get together and you hang out on a Friday night and you watch a movie. Aviation friends, we get together once or twice a month and we all hang out and take pictures of planes.
I FaceTime my friends like all the time. For example, Kevin, he comes to New York a lot. I go down to Florida, and it does work out. Social media played a factor in plane spotting a lot because people like to see each other's photos. Like that's how social media influenced me to start, and there's a lot of people start entering the community, and it's nice.
Atlanta.aviation.
Oh, I follow you.
Wait, you do?
I think I know you.
But Instagram especially has really revolutionized our community because it brings everybody together. It gives you a reason to do it because not only are you enjoying the passion yourself, but you're sharing your art with other people.
Plane spotting is like my second home. It gave me friends to talk to about my passion to the point that I realized these spotters are my family. Without them, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Whenever you meet people kind of outside of spotting, there's a lot of focus on breaking ice, but there is none of that when you're here.
As you can see, I'm really dedicated to plane spotting. As much as it is my hobby now, I hope to make it a part of my career one day as I head off to college. Good morning, Kevin. I hope this message finds you well. We wanted to know if you would be interested in an internship at Miami International Airport this summer. You will work alongside the Communications, Digital Marketing, and Creative Services Department to leverage your skill in photography and assist us in promoting our airport. We hope you will consider joining our team. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. We look forward to hearing back from you soon. Kind regards, Christina Armand. This is awesome. I told you, this is my future.
Alright, so, Josh, what was this whole moon landing thing you were trying to talk to me about?
It's fake, man. All fake. You know, Stanley Kubrick?
Wait, who?
Guy who made 2001: A Space Odyssey. Greatest filmmaker of all time.
Oh! Right. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. He faked it all. So, basically...
Oh my god, not another conspiracy.
Amy, hold on. Listen to this, okay? Stanley Kubrick was hired by NASA to stage the moon landing because they didn't want to tell the country and disappoint them if they told them we couldn't fly to the moon yet.
Okay, and?
Alright, so when Apollo 11 came around, they took the astronauts out of the space rocket in secret, sent the rocket into space, and then they flew the guys out to some studio in London or LA, and they faked it all. Matt, I'm telling you, Neil Armstrong was an actor all along.
Yeah, you know what? You should make a Netflix documentary about that one.
I would not watch that.
I would watch that.
Oh my god. You guys want anything?
Some chips, I guess.
You sure? I mean, we got literally like a quarter mile to go.
No, we're fine, Dad. What's wrong, Carol? Are you upset?
No, I'm fine.
Oh, come on. You look like you've just seen a dead body on the street.
I don't know. I feel weird. I feel like it has something to do with the trip.
Are you serious? lighten up a little. Let's all just have some fun this weekend. Besides, you hardly ever go out with anyone. It'll be good to come out of your cave for once.
Sure.
Sure.
Snack time, kids. Give her the receipt, right?
Yeah, it's in my pocket.
Okay. So we got sour cream and onion, nacho cheese.
No signal.
Matt, when are we gonna get to Naples?
About hour and a half, I think. I mean, at least that's what the GPS is saying.
Jesus, how long have we been on the road?
About the same time, I think.
Carol, you told your parents about the trip, right?
Yeah. They said I could go.
Hey, Matt, you mind if I play some music on the radio again?
Yeah, sure. Helps keep me awake.
So is Barbie Girl fine with you?
Okay, if you actually play that song, I'm literally throwing you out of the car.
Why'd we decide to take this road anyway? I mean, why the hell didn't we go into I-75 or something?
Hey, come on, Amy. We're not in a rush, all right? You know, and besides, my dad used to take us down here when we were kids to go fishing, and I don't know, I guess you guys would think it was cool.
Oh yeah, I love driving down a dirty redneck road in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing to do but stare out the window and wait.
Amy, just listen to some music or something.
Yeah, and I bet some farmers gonna come.
Carol, what is it? I just saw something run past our car, like a monster or something.
What the hell are you talking about?
Amy, I swear, it was big and it was black and it ran past here. I swear, Amy, it was right there. It was right outside.
There is literally nothing out there. If there was some monster or shadowy thing running along the side of the road, I'm pretty sure I would have saw it first.
Carol, are you okay?
Matt, I have a bad feeling. Let's get out of here.
Don't worry, it's fine. Don't worry, we're gonna be all right.
Matt, get us the hell out of here.
Carol,
you need to calm down.
We have miles
Take
to
the turn
go.
right there. Take the turn right there. Take the turn right there.
Great. This is great. No signal.
Matt, don't.
Amy, shut your mouth. Okay. All right. We are stuck in the middle of nowhere with my damn broken car, all because Carol's schizophrenic ass had to just.
The next town's 5 minutes from here. Someone's probably gonna drive through here.
Who? Who is going to drive down here?
Someone who lives here, dumbass.
We're screwed.
Can you just sit down, please?
Oh, no, Amy, don't get mad at me.
Guys?
Look out. What? Matt!
Oh my god!
Through here! Through the trees! Amy, come on!
Amy, please, come on.
I don't want to go in there!
Amy, please, come with us.
Josh? Josh! Josh, where are you? Oh my God. Josh!
Carol, are you there? Josh! Oh my gosh.
like this. Nobody should live like this.
I never wanted to live here.
I'm out.
Area 52, we have alien life form ready for containment. Copy?
Roger. Area 52 ready and waiting. Over. What do you got? We got another bipedal alien.
Jeez. Another one?
Yeah, it's been raining aliens lately.
What's it look like?
Ugh. Disgusting.
Zorba, come in.
Go for Zorba.
Did you see it?
Yep. Yeah, I see. Just like the other one.
Area 52, we have alien life form ready for containment. Copy?
Roger. Area 52 ready and waiting. Over. What do you got? We got another bipedal alien.
Jeez. Another one?
Yeah, it's been raining aliens lately.
What's it look like?
Ugh. Disgusting.
Zorba, come in.
Go for Zorba.
Did you see it?
Yep. Yeah, I see. Just like the other one.
Now what?
The doctor should be here shortly.
Hope she doesn't kill this one like the last one.
Let me see it. What's the status of the specimen?
Unconscious.
I'll wake it up.
Stop it! What the hell? Get out!
Get this damn thing off me.
Do it.
What are you? What the hell is going on?
Take off the mask. It's no threat.
Do I restrain it?
I'll handle it.
All right, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but those movies were absolutely fantastic. We're actually going to have our filmmakers come into the room in just a second. We have them off in a breakout room at the moment. I want to remind you guys, you can get the Easter egg challenge form over at the ASFI Twitter account. That's at ASFI_dream. At ASFI_DREAM, dream. If you want to ask questions, please make sure to include your questions in what's going on at the chat, as well as what's going on Twitter. You can either tag ASFI at ASFI_dream or hashtag ASFI Fest. So we have a couple of different films that we're going to discuss. Pretty much everything that we saw today. We have a bunch of questions. We're just waiting on our co-hosts here to bring our filmmakers in. Where's the forum in the Twitter account? So Jared Pico. Hey Pico. Pico's asking where's the form in the Twitter account. So it's going to be up after the Q&A. After the Q&A, we're going to put up that link and you'll be able to, hey buddy, you'll be able to access that via the Twitter account on twitter.com, or you can also access it via an app if you have it on your mobile phone, on your smartphone or device. So a couple of different things about these movies, man. I can say as a programmer, this is our second year doing this program. I'm gonna jive with you guys while they figure out the break room situation. I can say this is my second year programming this particular festival. And one thing that I've noticed is as our program grows, as we continue to kind of service communities and we continue to kind of work with students, the amount of creativity, both technical and in terms of storytelling, has been staggering. I've been really, really kind of blessed to see students grow. We start always with the basics, and we always bring students in to kind of experience a great deal of new ideas, which a lot of which is challenging. I think the filmmakers themselves will tell you, the ones who have participated in the ASFI, like the after school program, will tell you that they always start with one very particular idea about, what filmmaking is and how it should work. And then it always ends with something completely different. Oops, sorry, pressed the wrong button there. And so you always start with a group of kids who have this really kind of earnest desire to do something new and to try and create something that they deeply care about. And then they come across all this new information, which just like kind of explodes their minds a little bit. And at first it's a bit daunting. I think this is why programming this festival and watching them create at such an interesting and high level is so awesome. Just because I see them grow over the course of several years. And also for those of you who maybe have kids who are watching your kids grow like 8 inches over the course of 6 months is insane. But watching them grow also as individuals, as artists, as intellectuals, as emotional and empathetic people has been absolutely phenomenal. Something that I care very, very deeply about. And so watching these films is kind of a really interesting perspective. It really gives you a sense of how they continue to grow. Watching, for example, Diego Andaluz go from, asking a bunch of questions and being super interested and having this really, really crazy background in film history, and then stealing from almost 60, 70-year-old movie to make a horror thriller is incredible. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Dante. We have our team. Hey, team. So introducing our filmmakers. I'm so happy to finally share them with you guys. We have Mia Internocia, Diego Andaluz, Luca V, because I can't remember your last name at this particular moment, but the director of Silhouette, and Julian Herrerias, which is the screenwriter of Alien Influx. Guys, congratulations. Beautiful, beautiful films. Really, really excited to share with everyone. I will start my portion of the Q&A because I have questions I've been dying to ask you for quite a long time, and I'm going to be selfish that way. And I'm going to start with Mia. Mia, you made Tomorrow. Did you have any idea when you were making that film, you directed that film, how relevant it would be?
So the prompt that we were given, this was originally an 8-hour film festival submission that I revised. And the original prompt was, what will tomorrow bring? And we competed within groups in our own school. And the other group kind of went, the quarantine route because they knew it would be really relevant, at least in the future. We wanted to go a route where we thought it would be timeless and something we all kind of believed in. So it's kind of like how you never know what tomorrow will bring. And it's just kind of worked out, I guess, really well that it is fitting. And I like to show it to people because especially nowadays, it's really important to value what you have because you never know when things could just change completely.
I mean, I got to tell you, I remember watching that film for the first time at the screening that you guys did over at U School. And immediately I was like, Dev, I need that movie for the festival because it was not only timely, but also incredibly emotional. It's this kind of like, if there was no COVID, it would still be relevant and it would still be touching. It just so happened that you guys made a movie that works, I think, in both contexts. But there's this one really interesting thing I wanted to ask you from a filmmaker perspective, which is it's kind of hard to tell when you're working in mockumentary and in documentary and like kind of working at that perspective. It's kind of hard to tell when you're done. Did you have that problem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was that experience like? It's hard to tell when the story's finished, when you've like really pieced together the edit. What was the experience of making Tomorrow relative to that?
So again, it was made in 8 hours. So like the other group definitely went more of a storyline, like strict plot, needing this scene done kind of a situation. Ours was like everyone in the film, we're all friends. We just happened to be all put in the same group. So we kind of wanted to use this like awful situation that we weren't able to go to STN and kind of use it to our benefit. So we decided to kind of just have a day of it. So every scene that was there was kind of unplanned. The only thing we really did plan was the locations. So when we were editing it, again, it was in a very like quick time manner. So we were just kind of piecing everything together, but we knew how we wanted it to end because all those scenes basically came from different days and different memories from that friend group. And we knew that the way that the film was to end was to be basically the end of the person who's filming the entire time, his life. This was supposed to be not only a recap on the friend group and all the amazing times they had together, but it's also finishing the cameraman's life. That was his.
Yeah, that was hectic. That you sucked a little bit on that one. I hated it so much. I was like, oh my God. I was like, you're killing me, dude. It was that kind of that thing that films do when like you feel so much for it that you're just like, this is so good. It's so like it's pissing me off. Yeah, it was really, really emotional. I do have one more question that's coming in from Twitter that I feel obligated to ask because it's a really interesting question. Someone on Twitter asked, when you were making it, were you thinking of it as a mockumentary or were you thinking of it as a straight narrative?
We were thinking of it as a straight narrative because we kind of all gathered and we went in a circle, and I had an idea off of a short, like a filmmaker I follow on Instagram, and I actually DM'd asking if it was okay that I took a little bit of inspiration. And we basically, because we all agreed with the idea that we like to treasure what we have before it's gone. So instead of making it more of a mockumentary, which is this, I guess it's the style we wanted to go for, because of the way it's like handheld and like it's very much like not, it's its own like handheld kind of thing that you're there with the group and you can tell it's filmed on a camera. But storyline wise, we did want it to have more of I guess a straightforward narrative plot and story.
Copy that. Super interesting. Thank you so much, Mia. I'm going to go next to Luca Vieira. Vieira. Is that right, Luca? Did I pronounce that correct?
Yes.
Sorry about that, brother.
No problem.
You directed a film titled Silhouette, and the film is so interesting. It's so well made. But I think everyone's dying to ask one question, which is, was there an actual road trip?
Yes. Yes. The location in which we filmed it was this reserve, like couple miles near the Everglades, and we all lived in Weston, so we basically have to travel like an hour and a half down to this little tiny reservation in the middle of nowhere with hardly any internet access to basically shoot this film, but it was worthwhile in the end.
Yeah, it was clear that like you guys were all really close, and that you guys are all friends. You guys know each other. There's like a natural chemistry that lends itself to what you guys are doing, and so the whole family kind of conceit really works well because you genuinely believe these people know each other. It's not just a bunch of strangers, happen to be in a car while a camera's shooting. I did have this one really interesting perspective. The first time I watched your film, I was like, this man shot a stunt. How'd you deal with that, man? Like, how did you conceive of that?
Yeah. So as far as the movie went, this was, me and my friends all had this like shared desire to make a horror movie in the first place. And it was originally going to be like a psychological horror, but my friend and co-editor, Logan Seelig, was the one who actually came up with the idea of like a road trip gone wrong. And it was very much inspired by classic, horror movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and John Carpenter's Halloween. And
you did go like a sci-fi route though.
Yeah. It and there were some other smaller inspirations as well. And it was really interesting because it was probably the largest project we had done at that time, and so we were originally going to submit it for a film competition, which me and my class we go to each year, but we ended up scrapping that idea, and that's about it.
I mean, you got the laurels, buddy, so you're good to go, man. I do have a question coming in from the chat, from over on YouTube, and I want this answered because this is so interesting. It looks like Aliyah Nelson is asking, was that a Demogorgon? Also, how did you edit the part where some of you were snatched? Super interesting question.
No, it was not a Demogorgon. The design actually was an original design that my VFX supervisor, Luis Rodriguez, actually came up with. He's just amazing with VFX. And it was partially inspired by like other horror movies, but it was kind of our own idea. And the part where which I feel like everyone must be asking right now, is basically how we filmed the two scenes in which two of the characters get snatched. Is for the first one, our actress Jillian Gelfand was actually pushed by one of the other actors, and we just edited that out in post, and we just put like the background with the trees and everything over that, and VFX and everything. That
must have been kind of an interesting set to be on.
Yeah, definitely.
Like guys pushing each other.
Fun set. and chaotic worded that, but it was fun in general.
That's cool. Luca, Mia, I'm gonna come back to you guys in just 1 second with some more questions. I definitely have a lot more to ask, but I want to turn to our friend Isabella Marcon. Isabella, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, so you're the director of Surviving Ghosts.
Yes.
I think the most stark detail is obviously the lack of sound. I mean, you even put it like as the subtitle of the film, where you're like a mostly silent film, which I thought, by the way, was awesome. First off, more than the sound, for me, the ending of that movie, I was like, ugh. Like it's heartbreaking, and I'm sure that's exactly what you wanted me to feel. Though I will admit I gave in to your desire to make me feel this way. But I had a question about whether you came up with the ending before, like you knew what the ending was going into writing the story, or whether you kind of developed it and discovered it through the process.
I definitely developed it during the process. I went through dozens and dozens of ideas of how I wanted it to end. And I guess kind of in the middle of filming, I just decided I had this one idea, and I was like, it would be better if we just left it on. There is no real resolution to the situation. It's survival, and yeah.
There's this question coming in from Twitter that I think is a really, really interesting one, which is how do you think this silent aspect of the film helped you tell the story?
Okay, well, I used the silence to I wanted to focus more on the visual aspects to tell the story, and I wanted to kind of, use the little bits of sound, the fighting or the slamming of the doors I forgot the word.
Oh, is it kind of like inspire a certain kind of idea?
No, to, I guess, make it more impactful. So I wanted, yeah. So the sound, it only came in the parts when, I guess you could say, the cycle kind of continued. The main character woke up, and it's kind of like the starting of the cycle again of survival. And it was kind of like, I guess you could say, also the most scary parts for the main character, or the most kind of parts for the main character, because I had to do this again. The cycle.
I see. One more question that I really wanted to ask, and I remember writing this down because I was like, there's something here. Do you feel like the silence exists as a relative metaphor, kind of like to go on the concept of the only thing this character hears is this fighting, and it kind of instructs all of the details of her life in an interesting way? Is that kind of what you were going for? Because that's very much how I felt.
I also think that one aspect of survival could also be silence, because some people just survive through silence. So I think also it's up for interpretation how people saw me making the film mostly silent.
Yeah, I have a couple more questions I want to ask you, but I'm going to come back to you if that's okay. I'd really like to get our friend Julian Herrerias here with us. So Julian Herrerias is the screenwriter of Alien Influx. That was the one that closed the program. Julian, how are you?
I'm doing great.
So I have a couple of different questions, but the first is there's an obvious relationship between color and black and white in this movie. Being the screenwriter, did you guys come up with that during the writing process, or during production, during post? How were you guys thinking about that?
Well, I remember when we got the prompt, it was from STN Challenge. I remember I was sitting with the director, Richard Joseph, and he wanted to go for a Twilight Zone and a little bit of a Schindler's List type of film. So we decided to incorporate the Twilight Zone aspect in where you find out that the people doing the kidnapping are the aliens, and the Schindler's List, obviously, with the Red Hood only being the color in the film.
So it's kind of like you guys had this idea of throwing back to Schindler's List to some degree. Damn, that's interesting. I hadn't conceived of that. That's fascinating. What kinds of, this might be more of a personal question than a film question, but it's about your craft. Do you focus a lot on sci-fi? Is that usually what you're writing, or are you usually writing other different genres?
Actually, sci-fi is not my main genre. I write crime films from the perspective of criminals, and I also do horror. I only did Alien Influx because the prompt was Area 52. So it was a good experience, you know, even though I don't normally do sci-fi, it was good to kind of try something else for a change.
For sure. What are the big differences you think between writing something like Dante, which we're going to get to in a second, and something like Area 52, kind of Alien Influx style kind of thing? Is there like significant writing differences, or do you think you're just tapping into a different part of your brain?
I mean, I think it's more me going into a different part of my brain, because I wrote Alien Influx the way I would write a crime film. If you read Alien Influx and you read any of my other scripts, you could tell that there's a lot of similarities. So I kept it very, you know, to the way I normally would write, and I put my own spin on it. It was fun.
So the process doesn't change, just kind of the mindset.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Julian, I'm gonna come back to you. I wanna speak briefly to Diego. I do have more questions for you if you don't mind. Let me turn to Diego on the loose. Diego, the director of Dante. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. I love your movie. I think your movie's fantastic, and the best part of it is a lot of people don't know this about you, but you are an absolute diehard cinephile. This really is one of the most interesting experiences I ever had. Was walking into U School on the first day and having a conversation, and having you. I think you're going into 11th grade now, right?
Yeah, I'm a junior right now.
Yeah, having a junior talk to me like a fourth year college student about like European 20th century. I was like, how does this kid know so much about movies? And so when I saw Dante, I was like, I know that everyone's thinking Birdman, but I know that you're thinking Rope. And I was like, there's this connection with really, really old cinema and doing this kind of like one-shot situation that I thought was really, really interesting. What was the inspiration behind that?
I mean, to be honest, most of the inspirations that I have, it's not like that I could necessarily pinpoint one film or another. It's just that from all these like years and just months of watching film after film, I kind of just like pick and choose certain aspects from it. So like I wouldn't say it's completely Rope based or like Birdman. Like obviously I guess those had some like influences on my work, but I don't really know if I could pinpoint a certain thing. Just when I knew that I wanted to make something one take, because well, it's not one take, but there are long takes in it.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to make something that's like immersive, and it just, when it's one take, it just really sucks you into the whole situation. And it also came from a need, because like when you're dealing with like maybe like doubles, because like my brother who acted in the film, he's just one guy, he doesn't have a twin. So I felt like it would be more impactful if it stayed in one shot, because if it's like cutting, then you can tell like, oh, there's obviously some trickery going on here. But even though like you know that obviously there's only one person, it's still in your mind, like it's like an illusion, and it just makes it feel more realistic, you know? So
I loved it. I loved that, especially you ended it on that really low angle, kind of like Citizen Kane type feel, with this dude has so much power over this other dude, and it's the same dude. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, no, I love that. I have a question here from, looks like Xavier McLeod. He wants to know, how many retakes and planning did you get to deal with before you hit the final cut?
I mean, actually, it was really, like, I came up with the idea, maybe like, let's say like one day, and then the next day, it took me like maybe like a week to just like kind of come up with like the final idea. But once it was shooting, since it was really only, this was done with a phone with no stabilizer, it was just my arm, just holding the phone, and with my brother in my house. So it was really just 2 a 2-night shoot, and it was 2 hours each night, or it was more like 1 or 2 hours each night. And I would just walk him down, because honestly, with the one take, at least in this situation, it was much easier to like direct that way, because like when you have a bunch of shots going on, you have to like plan ahead. And with one take, I just kind of guided him, and I told my brother, okay, we're gonna walk down here, you're gonna do this. And then maybe we would do a practice take, and then I would say like, okay, what else do we need to do? And it really only took like 2-3, each shot was only really 2 to 3 takes. And it was, it was very like just spur of the moment. Like there wasn't that much involved. It was kind of just, I wanted to go for the emotion. I just wanted to see where the story would take us.
So were you in camera doing VFX, or did you actually do some posts? I mean, like we have this really interesting question about that here from, looks like Yashiro Okimi. She's wondering, what were those special effects, or was it just like trickery of the camera hiding the cut?
It was all just trickery of the camera. We used one VFX shot, but it wasn't even for the camera movement. It was in the mirror. You could see me holding the camera. So I got my visual effects supervisor, Mike Mianowski, and he just painted it out real quick. But apart from that, it was just all trickery of the camera. Like I just made sure to have the correct speed, because obviously if it's too slow, you'll be able to see the cut. But there's a bunch of hidden cuts in there that I'm sure, like if you pause and you analyze it, you'll be able to tell which they are. But it was, all of that stuff was just with the camera. It was all done. Nothing.
So just so Amaru Daniels on YouTube can sleep at night, let's answer this real quick. You didn't actually like use VFX to clone Dante. You just hid some kind of cut or something like that.
Yeah. It was just like all in camera, just cuts, no VFX at all.
Dope. So I have a ton more. I have like 40 more questions for you, but I'm gonna come back to you if that's okay, because I want to actually I want to turn back to Mia and ask a question about tomorrow. Mia, you still with me?
Yes. Hi.
Hey, so I had this idea watching your film that I'm sure everyone had, which was, in my mind, I think old 8mm celluloid, that kind of like chaka chaka chaka, you know what I mean? But in your mind, you thought VHS 90s perspective kind of thing. And to me, that was so interesting, because I was a child in the 90s. You were probably a kid in the 2000s. And so it kind of goes to show like the generational thing, and yet you managed to still very much touch me. Is there a reason you went with that particular aesthetic as opposed to just kind of letting it ride smartphone style?
Yes, actually, we talked about it as a group, and we thought that it would kind of just not give the same memorabilia type memory effect if it was just a smartphone. And also, a lot of us at home, we like, for example, like I'm kind of staring at mine right now, like we have film cameras that you can like place in the film and then get it developed in order to like make it into film. And we also just really liked the idea of, it was a filter, because again, we didn't have the equipment to actually make it look like it was shot on film. But we were very much inspired by a lot of 90s movies or things that had like more 90s filters on top. And the person who really helped me out with the filter, his name's Sebastian. He's really into that kind of 90s aesthetic and that 90s coloring. And we both just kind of agreed that it would give more of the effect we wanted if it was not a smartphone type thing. You're muted, warning. Ron, you're muted, just a warning.
Sorry.
You muted yourself again.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So that's fascinating to me. I thought it was really interesting how you guys went with that aesthetic, and like how that aesthetic seems to be coming back. So for you as a filmmaker moving forward, do you think that you'll be playing with that kind of 90s aesthetic in some film in the near future?
Yes, I also really want to play with like aspect ratio. I've been watching a lot of films where like they change it depending
Just
on
so everyone knows, can you explain aspect ratio a little bit to us? Because like we might have some non-filmmaker layman's in the audience.
Yes, I'll do my best, but I've just recently started researching it as well. But it's basically when you're watching a film, like the screen, again, it like takes up a certain aspect ratio. So it takes like a certain amount of the screen.
Like the canvas.
Exactly, the canvas of it. So sometimes like if you are watching a movie and all of a sudden you see the 2 black bars on the side, it's because they changed the aspect ratio. So I was recently watching a movie where whenever, I mean, I really like mid-90s, not sure if anyone's seen it, but whenever one of the characters, 4th grade, whenever he starts filming it, it like changes aspect ratio to show like, okay, now you're in the camera. So it's like, I really want to play around with that. But overall, even though I wasn't born in the 90s, I have a lot of respect for a lot of the filming that went on. I felt like a lot of it was more natural. A lot of it was less planned out, and it was really authentic.
For sure. I think your generation has a healthy respect for the things that my generation was wearing when we were kids. No, that's fantastic. One last question for you, Mia. Tomorrow we get an opportunity to see, today we got an opportunity to see you direct. Tomorrow we get an opportunity to see you produce. You and I had a really interesting relationship and a really interesting conversation. When you came into your role as a producer, it's a completely different kind of space, a completely different kind of world. For those students who maybe have not experienced what it's like to helm a full film crew, a full film set, what would you say is the principal differences between the things that you were doing before ASFI became a thing and the things that you were doing after?
I definitely didn't know like positions in film, if that makes sense. Like I feel like a lot of people, and not that anyone's better or worse than anyone based on their position, but I definitely didn't know where producers stood on like a level standpoint. A lot of people, including a lot of my classmates, definitely thought the director was right at top. And I didn't realize that even though like I did a lot of directing, I would accidentally do a lot of producing. And I can like assume a lot of us here do that as well, just because I feel like we know the vision we want and we know what we're looking for. But by doing ASFI, I realized like producing is way more than just being like, I want this. It's very much like organizing and making sure everyone knows what they're doing and making sure things get put in on time, because everyone has their faults, and it's like there needs to just be someone that they can trust and go to. And for example, even though I was producer for the film that's being showcased tomorrow, I trusted Ron. So like even though I was the producer, I still had someone to trust and go to. So I feel like the biggest difference between producing and directing is that directing, you're definitely more hands-on when you're on set, and you can deal with like the actors and you get to deal with like the shots and the story right then and there. But producing, like you said a lot of times at ASFI, is it's like your game day is leading up to the day of the shooting. The director's game day is the day of shooting.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to put it. Mia, thank you so much. This was a brilliant conversation. I really enjoyed it. I want to go to our friend Isabella and talk about Surviving Ghosts quickly. I do have this one comment that I think you deserve to hear. I think it's such a beautiful thing to say. Eric Nelson is saying on YouTube, Surviving Ghost story broke me kind of. I wonder if the filmmaker thought about how serious this could be picking such a topic. I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, Isabella, I feel like as a filmmaker, we often kind of venture into those spaces and we want to kind of explore those stories and kind of not be shy about telling those kinds of stories. Is that how you felt coming into such a serious topic?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did you have to think, or like, was there any trepidation for you in telling this story about this serious thing that I'm sure a lot of people, maybe even watching your film today, have experienced or have some kind of experience with? Did you have like any kind of hesitation there, or were you like, nah, I'm gonna tell this story. This is someone's story and it should be shared? How did you feel about that?
Of course, there is some hesitation because it's such a serious topic and you don't want to hurt anyone who's dealing with stuff like that. But I made it with the thought of there's people that deal with this, and I want people to know that I see you, and through the film, other people could see you as well, and you're not alone with this. Other people deal with it, and sometimes you just have to kind of push through it. There might not be a resolution right now, but of course, it's survival. So.
For sure. I want to ask you one last thing. When you're looking at your film, do you think that there's any aspect of it that you, knowing what you know now with the experience of having made it, would change, do differently, have learned from? Is there like like what's your takeaway, I guess would be the best way to put it, from having made this movie as an artist moving forward, maybe making other works of art, whether it's film or any other kind of medium?
That's a good question. It'd probably be to go maybe more in depth with the story, because you just see kind of the surface and a little a little bit into, well, of course you see inside of what's happening, but maybe more about like why this cycle is happening and why the main character is deciding to do this or to go with the cycle. Why is she so silent about all of this? And to maybe like explain it more to audiences that haven't dealt with that.
For sure, for sure. I think that one of the things that you learn as a professional filmmaker when you work on really sensitive topics is you have to always kind of follow up and make sure that the community that you're servicing with this has that sense of presence and that sense of representation, and that you're kind of working with them. I commend you on making an absolutely brilliant, beautiful film. That was, you know, it was a tough watch, but a good watch. Thank you so much, Isabella. I'm going to go finally to Luca, our good friend Luca Vieira. I have two questions for you, my friend, really. The first is, in the movie, there's this visual effects push that you guys had to pull off. How comfortable did you feel going into the project, knowing that that was part of the script? And then how comfortable did you feel coming out of the project and maybe moving forward with your next project with VFX now that you've completed something like that?
Oh, I was terrified. It was interesting for me because I knew from the very beginning that it was going to be like a very VFX driven project. But me and my crew, we kind of just had the creativity and the willpower within us to like actually go forward with this idea and actually do it. And VFX, I think we were a little naive in estimating like how long the VFX process would actually take. But it was very rewarding at the end because we got to essentially finish the movie off with something that was kind of beyond our expectations, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I think that considering I have people who work with me making VFX stuff, and considering how much I have to pay them, I might start having to pay y'all, because honestly, y'all actually did a really, really good job on this one. I was very, very impressed with the VFX here. And then finally, moving forward, do you think that you'll stay working in sci-fi, or do you think you'll diversify a little more, start working in other genres?
Well, I definitely want to work in do more horror stuff. I am very much interested in kind of like supernatural and kind of psychological themes. I also want to work on maybe perhaps a drama or a thriller of any sort. I'm actually, my next project which I'm working on starting is actually a thriller. It's basically set in a convenience store and kind of follows a worker as he stumbles upon a crime scene. And,
sounds like you and Diego should hook up at some point. You guys might have similar points of view. Yeah, thank you so much, Luca. Honestly, I really, really enjoyed Silhouettes. I thought it was really, really cool. I thought it was really, really well made. I look forward to seeing it grow, and I look forward to seeing you grow too, man. Thank you so much. That brings us again to our friend Julian. Julian, I have one last question for you. I think that there's this really, it's actually a question that came from Twitter. I think that there's this really interesting, deep concept. You mentioned that you were working kind of like this homage to Steven Spielberg. And this homage, not particularly to Spielberg, but specifically to Schindler's List, which, I mean, like, that's a heavy movie, man. That's a big, big movie. My curiosity was, all good sci-fi isn't about the aliens, it's about humanity. We know that. What concept were you working off of when you're homaging this really, really harsh movie and you're talking about a genre that is famous for trying to humanize characters? What was the thesis here? What was the central concept?
Well, I mean, I think the central concept for the film was that not everything really is exactly what you see, because the whole movie you're thinking that these military soldiers that they've kidnapped an alien, and it's not so, it's not so black and white. And the twist is that, the guy that was kidnapped ends up being a human, and it doesn't go so well for him. So
it is
we definitely
about
wanted
perspective.
to, yeah, we wanted to do something different, in the sense that, like, when we got the prompt, we went off of the assumption that everyone was going to do either people storming Area 52 with like guns, or there was going to be like an interrogation room, or an interview. So we definitely wanted to do something different, and we actually came up with going off of a Twilight Zone vibe to it before we even got to the Schindler's List. The Schindler's List idea actually came up during the writing process.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of depth and a lot of humanity. When I first saw that short, I was kind of thrown aback. The twist is cool. I love a plot twist, man. Plot twists are fun. But I think the meaning of the plot twist is what threw me aback. Kind of like what you're trying to get at, and having watched it, it kind of reaffirms, and this is true of most of the films that we saw, it kind of reaffirms how young people really do have an incredible voice and how they can really use their creativity to say important things. And I think that Alien Influx is a good example of that. I think you guys really, your team, all the way from development, screenwriting, all the way through post, really show the value of art, especially coming from young people. I commend you on that. It's a deep thing to say, and you guys said it well. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm going to turn to our friend Diego to close the conversation. Diego, moving forward, what can we expect, my friend?
I mean, I have a lot of projects kind of in development on the line right now. Actually, a couple that I was going to do before COVID hit, and then that happened. So I've kind of just been looking for a space to do that. But like right after this, like in a couple of weeks, actually, we were able to, using Dante as a proof of concept, we were actually able to secure a budget, and we're gonna make like a short film with similar themes, kind of exploring the world of Dante a bit more. It's not gonna have characters, but that's probably gonna be shooting, I'd say mid-October. Hopefully, that's the goal.
I love it. I can't wait to see that, man.
Yeah, we're still putting a cast and crew together, but I'm really excited because this is something it actually came from a script that I was working on for a while. And then apart from that, but that's like sci-fi, horror, thriller, kind of same genres. But I also want to, like, I have ambition. I actually shot and like created, like I finished a final cut of a drama film. Well, it's sci-fi drama, but it's very grounded over quarantine as well, I think in July. And that will be premiering theatrically, I believe, in the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival.
Wow.
So I'm excited for that as well.
That's amazing.
Thank you. And then apart from that, I have like a little 3-minute drama short that I'm hoping to shoot maybe early January 2021. And then for maybe second semester 2021, maybe like February or March, we're working on a project that's like, it's a little bit more, it's definitely more grounded drama. I'd best describe it as like Moonlight, but with the structure of Arrival. So like, yeah, so, and that one's gonna be a bit more ambitious as well. We finished a treatment with that, and we're kind of just in the process of securing a budget for that one. But that's gonna be a pretty good project as well.
Dude, I think that the coolest part of watching your movies, man, and I say this not only as an audience member, but as a filmmaker, is the creativity behind what you're doing and the support that you have from the folks around you. You really do have some smart people who have your back. And so that I know is a really, really important part of being a filmmaker. I know that my films would get nowhere without that same crew, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
for sure.
I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So.
Yeah, I completely agree. Diego, thank you so much. I love your movie. I've told you this a million times. I think it's fantastic. I really, really appreciate you letting us screen it for the audience here and you spending some time with us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, this pretty much concludes. I will ask Dr. Devin Marsh to come on because he does have a little bit of news for our students. We have a little bit of prizes, or a single prize for the audience that we'll be handing out. So that being the case, Dr. Marsh, would you happen to be on?
I'm here.
All right. Would you just let everyone know what's going on with the audience prizes?
Okay, so while you guys know, there's a lot of students here that were hopefully coming for extra credit also to see some great films. And one of them that registered gets a prize. So we are going to see who that is. They're all entered into this nice spin wheel. And the winner will be... Sebastian Santana. So, Sebastian, please get in touch with us. Not hard to get in touch with us through either the chat, Twitter, Instagram, carrier pigeon, whatever it might be. Send it in so we can get you your prize sent to you. We have a nice, I forgot to share what it was. That would be kind of be nice. One of our sponsors, Rode, gave us a video mic, so you can use that for your phone.
Nice.
We'll be here tomorrow night, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So I hope to see everybody tomorrow night at 6. Congratulations, all you guys. All the big awards go out tomorrow night at the end of the festival after the Q&A. So we have that. Those guys that need the Easter egg form, it should be in Twitter now. And I think we're going to post it in the YouTube chat since the YouTube chat actually worked. And it's a lot easier since everybody's in there.
Just a reminder, we are announcing the winners of all of the cash prizes and all of the gear prizes from the competing films in the film festival tomorrow. So hopefully we'll also be joined by some of our wonderful filmmakers from today. I do want to thank all of the filmmakers who took the time to be with us. Mia, Diego, Luca, Julian, Isabella, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you so much for sharing your talent and for sharing your stories. Loved every second of it. And for everyone who came and hung out and saw these movies and had a good time with us on the chat, thanks so much for coming. Make sure you tune in tomorrow so that we'll be showing the last of ASFI Future and Film Fest, as well